Everybody, welcome back, and as promised a number of weeks ago, here's a review of my new ESP Horizon I. This is a Japanese-made ESP. It's a neck-through body, and it has a carved top, which features actually a flat playing surface where the pickup rings are. Not like a Les Paul or something like that, where it's completely arched across the top. But this guitar has an alder body with a neck where the neck-through portion and the shaft of the neck are maple. The fingerboard is ebony, and these are extra jumbo frets. The inlay work on this is fantastic with this offset abalone, and we get some really interesting side markers there, which are round and sort of concentric circles. But obviously, the paint is stunning. ESP calls this finish Andromeda 2, and as the angle of the guitar and the light play off of it changes, you'll see colors ranging from almost like a rose gold through reds and fuchsias all the way to blues, teals, and purples. It's really, really incredible to look at. And of course, there are other manufacturers who use this particular type of paint on other guitars. So the paint alone should never be a reason to buy the guitar, but nonetheless, this is seriously cool. One little thing to notice, that truss rod cavity cover is actually made out of metal. And that's a one-up on even some of my ESP USA guitars. So needless to say, the upper fret access is completely unrivaled in this neck-through construction. I do feel like usually when you get a neck-through, the benefits that you get to the playability do wind up slightly compromised or offset by the fact that I think the build of the shaft of the neck tends to be a little more substantial. I think ESP categorizes this as a thin U, but to my feel, honestly, it's certainly thicker than some of the Lynch guitars like the Sunburst Tiger and the Kamikaze behind us there, but that's not to say that this thing doesn't play great. Electronically, pickups-wise, these are both Seymour Duncan ceramic humbuckers. This is a Duncan Distortion with a kind of a powder black cover, which mellows it maybe ever so slightly. And this is a Seymour Duncan Cool Rails, which is not at all intended to sound like a single coil. In fact, both of these being ceramic, they're going to sound very solid and kind of thunky and compressed, which is great when you want that really state-of-the-art, hard-hitting, thunder and lightning sort of metal sound. They're both pretty neutrally EQ'd. This Duncan Distortion does give great harmonics in the uppers and the mids, but it lacks a specific kind of like character of its own. But you'll kind of find that with ceramic pickups. And then the Cool Rails here is almost like a fatter, more compressed version of something like a Jazz or even maybe a Pegasus. But oddly enough, when both of the pickups are combined clean, they have an oddly jazzy sound. This is just straight three-way switching, so it's one, both, or the other. So don't look for Strat-like versatility tonal-wise out of this guitar. This is made to be what it is, and what it is definitely a stack 'em high, pile 'em on shredders guitar. And if that's what you're here to do, this guitar is definitely for you. The thin nature of this carve does not leave enough room for ESP to do their kind of typical deep dish edge mount Strat jack, but that's okay. This guitar is absolutely incredible. It plays great. It looks just as great. And if you're somebody who wants a ton of versatility sound-wise in your guitar, I don't know that I would necessarily recommend this. This guitar, I believe personally, could benefit a lot from including maybe some push-pull options here to at least split these guys and then maybe put, say, the neck in parallel with itself. Those are simple options that you can opt not to use by leaving the pots down and then just using the three-way. It's not that big a deal. These could be some aftermarket mods I might do one day. And the other thing is that while the pickups are great for what they are, which is rock and metal, if you wanted some versatility out of this, I would consider maybe looking at some Alnico-based magnets and something that's not quite so neutrally voiced. The bottom line here is ESP does not miss. The build quality is incredible. It looks great. It plays great. For how it's intended to sound, it certainly plays the role. But if you're going to rush off and spend well north of $4,000 of your hard-earned money on a guitar to be your number one, if you require some sort of versatility out of the tone of the guitar, you might want to think twice. But man, if you just want to go cut heads and shred and knock them dead, this is definitely the guitar for you. I would definitely recommend it. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Cheers.